Hello friends, Phil Hurley here. It is July 11th, Monday, July 11th. So that means tomorrow is the official release date of my brand new EP, which is called the Firebird Sessions. It's 5 songs that I recorded here in Bastrop, Texas that I wrote in the last year or so. People have asked me why the Firebird Sessions, and there's kind of a couple answers to that. Another term for a Firebird is a phoenix, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And this project was kind of a bit of a phoenix rising from the ashes. If any of you are familiar with digital recording, we store all the information for a record now on a hard drive. And when I went to do the vocals for this record, that hard drive completely crashed on me. So imagine if you had 5 different puzzles that were each 1,000 pieces for each puzzle, and you took all 5,000 pieces and dumped them in one big bin. I had to go through and pick out every single piece and try and figure out which puzzle it belonged to, and then recreate that entire puzzle to make this EP happen again. But it worked. Much thanks to Christian Parker and Ron Keck up at Subcat Records in Syracuse, New York. They helped me immeasurably. And it's finally come together. It's going to be available on all the streaming services tomorrow. But I also wanted to share another part of this story. So part of the reason it's called the Firebird is that I played a Gibson Firebird electric guitar on a lot of that. And a lot of you don't know what a Firebird is, so I thought I would do a quick video about the history of the Gibson Firebird. So in the late 50s, Gibson came out with a really bizarre, futuristic assortment of guitars. The Flying V, the Never Seen Modern or Modern, and this weird beast, which was called a Gibson Explorer. And this was way too ahead of its time for 1958. They only made well less than 50, maybe 65 of them total. Now they're worth about $1 million a piece. But this angular beast kind of came and went in 1958 and disappeared until it was reissued many, many years later. This is a modern reissue. Cool guitar, very futuristic, but a little too ahead of the time for 1958. So, skip to 1963, kind of trying to compete with this new company, Fender, out of Fullerton, California. They were making these flashy, cool, solid body guitars and painting them like fancy car colors, like the hot rods of the day. They introduced the first idea of what they called the Firebird. This is an actual copy of a Gibson. I hope to have a real original Firebird someday, but this is a very good reproduction of one. So this is what the original Firebird looked like. These kind of crazy Firebird pickups, which are very unique. It's a humbucker pickup, but it's unlike anything in any other Gibson. This very strange offset body, crazy headstock. The original ones had these things called banjo-style tuner pegs that stuck out of the back that were kind of unique and clever. Well, this guitar only came out from about 63 to 65 and famously played, you see Keith Richards and Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones both had one. Johnny Winter, the Texas blues man, most famously played this style of Firebird. Phil Manzara from Roxy Music. Even the guitar player from Adam and the Ants, whatever his name was, Doug is playing. So after they did away with this, which they call the reverse Firebird, they came out, oh, and I should also share with you, why not, because I've got one sitting right here. The matching bass of the era was called the Thunderbird. So this was the Gibson bass of that era. Strangely enough, it didn't really catch on with a lot of rock bands. The one band I've seen that were both the guitar player and the bass player, the whole band was outfitted, was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Very rock and roll. So yeah, this is the bass version of the Thunderbird. And in 65 to about 69, they switched to what they called the non-reverse Firebird. And this is my main Firebird. This one is a 66. It's in the rarest custom finish. It's called Inverness Green. This one has P90 pickups in it. Kind of a little bit of a different headstock shape, kind of a Fendery headstock shape. This one has become my number one in my latest band. I love the sound of this guitar. It's very unique. It kind of splits the world between a Fender and a Gibson sound. And this one's got a little bit of a cool backstory. I was living in Seattle, Washington, and there was a music store called Loud Music in the Fremont neighborhood. And I would go in now and again just to see what the guy had. And he had this hanging in there for quite a while for a lot of money. And one day, I just happened to be there the right day where the guy needed to make a sale. And he sold it to me for an incredibly fair price. And I love this guitar, and I've kept it for years. I finally, during COVID, I finally had it refretted and really reset up by a wonderful local luthier named Jimmy Soma, who I highly recommend. And now it's just turned into my favorite. It's my favorite little beast, and it's the sound pretty much of the Firebird Sessions, so thus the name for the record. So Firebird, Firebird Sessions, wherever I put that CD. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend and week. It's going to be about 109 here in Texas again today, so stay hydrated, play cool guitars, and buy my new record.